Then we got probably the most Ramones style song on this album, 100 Times a Day. This is another one I wrote about Julia initially. Man, I'm not. Let's go. This is very Ramones, this song. 100, then of course I got 100 times a day, 100 times a day, 100 times a day. Go did it, 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, I mean, you can totally turn that into a Ramones song if you are thinking like the Ramones. Anyway, so that was kind of the musical inspiration. But I wrote it kind of again. I noticed I caught myself thinking about Miss Julia a lot when I was, 13. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to write another love song about how much I'm thinking about her. And so then I thought, we should be doing that with Jesus. He should be the thing that we think about most. He should be the thing that consumes our mind. It should be Jesus. We should love him so much. I think of the comparison. Muslims, this might be controversial, but I don't care. Muslims pray 5 times a day to a God that doesn't exist. So what are we doing as Christians? How about 100 times a day? How about we pray in our minds, or think about Jesus and try to spend time with Jesus 100 times a day. We got 95 on the Muslims. I think that'd be cool if more Christians did that. That's my kind of thought there, my logic, I guess. So I think of you as I live out my day. I'm in love with you and all of your ways. I want nothing but your word to consume my mind. Anything else from this world is just a waste of time. I had to kind of introduce it maybe as, maybe you initially think of it as a love song, but right off the bat, I think of you as I live out my day. I'm in love with you and all of your ways. That could be about a girl, but I wanted to make it pretty clear right off the bat, this is not a song about a girl. I was keeping some lines from when it had been about Miss Julia. But I want nothing but your word to consume my mind. That's a little bit different. Anything else from this world is just a waste of time. Because that's what it comes down to, man. Like, if you're loving something, and we talked about this in earlier songs, if you're loving something above Jesus, it's not going to get you anywhere. Jesus has to be the number one thing that you love. I guess only you. Yeah, only you, Jesus, are the one worthy of my love. Anything else from this world is just a waste of time. And I've been thinking about you all the time, every way. I've been thinking about you 100 times a day. Very just simple punk rock chorus. There's not a lot of theological depth to these choruses. Sorry to disappoint. But just anything to kind of rhyme with a day. That's kind of where this came from. And then we develop it a little bit. Second verse. They're laughing and saying that we're not meant to be, but they don't know about the love you've shown to me. This is kind of going into, you will experience persecution as a Christian. If you love Jesus above all else, you will run into periods where you will be criticized and mocked, because he promises, as I was mocked and scorned and beaten, so will you be for my name. So this is kind of developing that. Like, they're laughing and saying that we're not meant to be. They don't know about the love you've shown to me, because they don't understand it. This next line is an allusion back to roots. My identity is found in you, and that's a fact. No matter what they think, it's not just an act. Because some people think when you talk about Jesus, you're talking about a way to just manipulate people, or they see religion as a crutch, or they think of the televangelists, and they see it as rich people taking advantage of poor people by playing on their feelings. And it's all just an act. And yes, that is true. I think televangelists do that. But God can also use anybody. So I don't want to totally knock all televangelists. But yeah, most of them are doing that. But you never know what God can use to speak in people's lives. He can even use sinners and sin to bring people to him. He can use anything he wants. He can use anyone he wants. But also, yes, there are people who are just doing it as an act. So this is me saying, I am willing to suffer persecution for loving Jesus above things. And that's the chorus. And I will still love you no matter what they say, because I've been thinking about you 100 times a day. The first line kind of changes for all of the choruses. Because that's what it comes down to, is I will love Jesus in the face of persecution, if it comes to that. So then we go down to this cool, I'll play verse 3. And again, we don't really have a bridge on this. Well, we do have a bridge. This is kind of a leading up to a tonal shift. Again, this is a very short song. This is probably the shortest song, actually. Maybe shorter than Only You. This is keeping things different, keeping variety, because we have 3 verses. So you don't want to do the same thing every time, obviously. So this is kind of just a way to switch it up, bring the volume down a little bit. So we have this cool. The bass is doing this, kind of making it a little more thoughtful, I guess, or happy. While the drums are doing this cool Tom Phil thing. Kind of keeping the energy, but breaking it down. And then, yeah, love that little fill. But then the guitars are doing of course, the keeping the energy with the sustainiac. Kind of, keeping us and then bring us back in. So, kind of more ethereal in a way, these guitars. So I figured if the guitars are kind of this ethereal concept, let's talk about heaven a little bit, maybe. So, your nail-scarred hands put to death my guilt and shame, so I'll spend eternity praising your great name. You invited me into your eternal home. Jesus, I will worship you and honor you alone. So, a pretty simple verse. There's not a lot of backstory with that one. It was mainly just me kind of thinking about how I get to spend eternity with Jesus because of what he's done. And, again, I was trying to match the etherealness of the guitars, I guess, in a way. And then next chorus is, I will keep on loving you. I'll love you every day. I've been thinking about you 100 times a day, 100 times a day, 100 times a day. And then the bridge, I love how this is so you think it's over, right? But no. It's a nice little deceptive ending. And only you, oh, you can make me whole the way you do. So that's why my heart's always running back to you. So good with the harmonies. And only you, oh, you can make me whole the way you do. Initially the line was, only you can make me feel the way you do. And I was like, that was kind of about a girl. It could work for this, but it's not about feelings. It's about Jesus is the one that makes us whole. He doesn't make us feel a certain way. Yeah, he does to an extent, but it's about he brings that completion that we're searching for. So anyway, you can make me whole the way you do, so that's why my heart's always running back to you. And then we have this cool little transition. So cool. So over the top. I stole that from Speed King. One of the songs we would play all the time in the Zinchronex days. We would play it live. So that's kind of where I stole the idea of and then bring us back into it. And then we end it with another chorus. I've been thinking about you all the time, every way, because I've been thinking about you 100 times a day. It's a pretty simple song, 100 times a day. It's very simple, yet it means a lot to me, because that was another one of those songs that I was able to redeem about my love for Jesus, as opposed to what I thought was love in 8th grade and didn't know anything about it. So that was another cool one.